Samuel Leeds is one of Britain's most successful property entrepreneurs. A high-flying investor, a best-selling author, and founder of a leading property education company, Samuel is recognised as one of the brightest young stars in British business. Following his meteoric rise to success, by becoming a multi-millionaire in his 20s, Samuel is in the elite echelons of UK property investors. Over the next 5 weeks, 13 budding property entrepreneurs will be battling it out to prove that they are the ultimate property investor. The prize? £20,000 of Samuel's cold hard cash to kickstart one candidate's property journey. This is The Eviction.
I know my stuff.
I started property with no money.
20k to me would give me a really good kickstart into my property journey.
I want to win and I'll do anything. I mean, I'll do my best.
At the moment I don't have any properties, so I'm in the very beginning stages of my property journey.
I actually just finalised on a deal with my mum on Friday.
I've got a serviced accommodation unit and purchasing a property up north for a refurb. A very cheap one, I may add.
I can think of all options and all avenues. My biggest strength is confidence.
20,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but it is.
I am a bit of a perfectionist.
If I'm going to make something happen, I'll go out and get it.
So I started investing in property in roughly around September last year.
I'm very motivated. I think I should win £20,000 because it will really help me excel in my property journey.
I think I deserve to win the £20,000.
My name's Abby Pattison, I'm from York and I'm a property investor.
Good morning and welcome to The Eviction. Over the next 4 weeks, you will be partaking in several property investment challenges where one of you will be winning a £20,000 prize to invest in property yourself. My trusted business aides, Russell and Alistair, will be following you everywhere you go and helping me decide who will win this life-changing prize. Your first challenge will be this morning, where you will visit a property that I have secured. Your job is to go to the property, assess the property, and package it up ready to sell it tomorrow. You'll need to assess the market value. You'll need to assess the rental demand, the condition. Does the property need work? If so, how much work? And then tomorrow, I'm going to be having a party here at the castle where 20 of my high net worth individual friends will be visiting, and you will have an opportunity to present and sell your property deals to the investors. The winning team will be the team who can present their property the most accurately, authentically, and ultimately who can make the sale and get the highest fee. For this challenge, I'm going to split you into 2 teams. So we have 2 properties. This is in East Stoke-on-Trent, and this property with the address on the keys is in North Stoke-on-Trent. So please can I have you in 2 teams, the boys to my right and the girls to my left. Go. Now you're in 2 teams, please select yourself a team leader within your group. Okay, thank you. So who is team leader of the boys, please? Thank you. And who is team leader of the girls? Thank you. So boys, you will need to get your keys, the house keys, from Alistair, and Alistair will be following you down and joining you in the property. Girls, you will be joined with Russell, so you can get the house keys from Russell, and he will be going with you and watching you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow at the party. In the meantime, good luck.
The girls arrive at their property to see what they have to work with and how best they can package it to sell to their investors. If the numbers work and there's a probability of a decent return, the team can sell the deal for a hefty finder's fee.
It's a big bathroom.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It is quite big.
The team bump into one of the current tenants who tells them what he's looking for in a student accommodation.
For example, if you want to rent a room, what do you...
I'd look for a property. What I wanted about this place was there's a few amount of rooms. I didn't want to live with a lot of people.
You don't want a big one, yeah. Okay.
I like having kitchen surface space because I like prepping food. So a kitchen with a tiny preparation area, that would be really annoying for me.
She was using Magic Plan to create a floor plan. It's like measuring, but it does it on an app and it draws it for you.
Me and Danny have spoken to some builders today already, trying to get some quotes and see what they can do.
Yeah.
Mainly the shower.
Yeah, mainly the shower.
Yeah, I think that needs to go, totally.
Yeah, the tile.
Okay, so it's quite clear that Hannah is taking very much control of this task. She's got a really good idea of what to look for in the rooms. She noticed the damp, she noticed the cracks, which I think a lot of the others were completely missing.
Now we know what the girls think, let's find out what work actually needs doing to bring this house up to scratch.
So, I mean, first off, there's a lot of boxing that needs to be done. All these pipes, look at this, that need to be boxed in. There's no carpet or anything here, so first impressions is really important. All this wallpaper needs to come off and it needs to be painted. Kitchen, again, the kitchen's not too bad and it looks okay when you first walk in, first impressions, but it's just the little details, things like this damp up in the corner that needs to be sorted out. Of course, there needs to be lampshades. Some of the windows, again, have got a lot of dirt and damp and mould around them, which just needs to be cleaned out. Upstairs is where things get a little bit more severe. Again, at first glance, it can look not too bad, but there's cracks. Look at this. There's cracks in the ceilings, all down the walls. The windows are steamed up. They're mouldy. This definitely needs more than a lick of paint. This needs some serious attention, some serious thought, and to get it done to a high standard, you're going to need several £1,000s spending on it. Carpets, again, you could try and clean them, but even if you clean these carpets, they don't match, and they are absolutely filthy. I always rent out my HMOs, fully furnished, and I'm sorry, but this, I don't even know whether you can call this furniture. Like, what is this?
Meanwhile, back at the castle, the girls are conjuring up a plan to sell the deal to Samuel's investors at the pitch later on.
Right, so should we just have a catch up, see what we're all sort of thinking with this property then? Do you know how much this was bought for last?
77 in June last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
This house?
Yeah. Yep, this house.
Why has it gone up so much?
Yeah.
I was really impressed with the team tonight, in particular Alicia, because she managed to arrange a builder to come in. He gave very realistic advice. So I think that's going to be key when they're selling the deals tomorrow. The fact they've had a builder come in and give them this advice is going to go down very well.
On the other side of Stoke, the boys take a look around their property to evaluate exactly what they have to sell to their investors.
Let's see. It looks... Can you reach it?
That is damp. No, you don't even need to switch it. That is damp.
Yeah. The meter needs changing.
Okay. So I think there's a bit of damp on that wall over there that will need sorting out. The bathroom needs some ceilings done, and the floor needs redoing as well.
Yeah, needs to be done.
The boiler looks fine. To be fair, the boiler does look fine. I need to have a look at the fuse box.
Yeah.
See what that looks like. I think it just needs a good clean and just a bit of paint and a bit of a makeover. But there's not. I mean, there's a few cracks in the walls, but they don't seem like they're a big problem. It's still livable, so it just needs a bit of a makeover, a bit of paint, and just tidying up a bit, really.
So when you're looking at property, that you should really move stuff out of the way. And I'm just moving this now, and look what I found. Like, none of them have spotted any of this sort of damage. And it just comes from not moving stuff. So whenever you're in a property looking, you should always be moving things that are associated near the wall. It hides all sorts of stuff.
Thanks for the advice, Alice, there.
Oh, there's an alarm up there.
Yeah, smoke alarm.
Yeah.
It's not a fire alarm, though.
No. It's a decent sized garden. The fence needs doing. what we need to work out, because that bit of fence has come down there. I don't know if it's from the weather or something, but we need to kind of work out we'll find out whose responsibility it is to put that fence back up.
And Stephen here removing some of the length from his measure with real finesse and flair.
Maybe I think this is probably not. I think Ricky's going to be the one that he's not enjoying this task that much. I think it's going to be quite challenging for Ricky. His strengths are elsewhere, I think, in instead of pricing up sort of work and things like that and assessing properties. But who knows? I may be wrong, and I hope I am. But I may be. But I think James will excel because this is what he does day to day. I think Elliot will do very well. So yeah, let's just wait and see. Who knows?
So basically just trying to get a good feel for the property, room sizes, any major issues like damp, what needs changing, if it's going to be a turnkey investment, is there any big money needs spending.
So this house is a very big house. It's got 4 tenants in it at the moment. It's a multi-let, and we've got it for £100,000. So let's have a look round and see what work needs doing to the property. Definitely needs a new carpet, definitely needs a paint. Kitchen, you could maybe get away with just cleaning it, but if it was my kitchen, I would be getting a new kitchen for this property. Now, what the boys probably didn't notice is that in the shed, there's a brand new kitchen ready to be fitted, but I'm not going to tell them that. I'll see if they notice that, but really, it definitely needs a new kitchen. Double glazed, so just worktops really, and it would make it look a whole lot better. The carpets are clearly very, very, very cheap carpets. They're filthy and they just need changing. I think with a paint, decoration, carpets, it'll make the place look a lot better. Interesting again that this place is being rented out as a 4-bed HMO, but there's no fire doors on the property. It's not really very good. I think probably you're talking £10,000 again. Similar to the last property, £10,000 should be able to be enough to give this property a very good uplift. Fire doors, furniture, somewhere between £10,000 and £15,000, and this will be very, very high standard. And your rents should easily be £1,600, £1,700 a month, and with good tenants.
The boys have agreed that the refurb cost for their house will be £5,500, which is nearly half the price recommended by Samuel. Let's listen to project manager James try and justify the miscalculation while we enjoy 30 seconds of looking at Elliot's lush beard.
Tenanted, isn't it? Mm-hmm. How much is it currently tenanted for?
So £1,500 is what the current rent's coming in gross.
And are they students or professionals?
Students.
Students, okay. So I think the first thing we need to do...
Seriously, I don't even care about the property. Just look at that.
Cost us to do the work, what our end rents are going to be. Just get our figures sorted. And if you look within a quarter of a mile the last 2 years, you've got a range from like 80k up to like 300k.
At this rate, I believe the boys are going to lose this task. If they do, I believe James needs to go. He took the lead and he is the one who's underestimated the refurb cost by half. Failing that, I think Stephen should go. Stephen has contributed nothing to this task and I feel he needs to go as well.
Samuel has invited 20 of his property mates to the castle to watch the teams pitch their deals in the hopes of finding an investor. Up first, the boys.
Who here knows that their money is shrinking in the bank? Yep. Thank you. Today, we're going to tell you with undeniable proof how you can achieve a minimum of 25% return on investment.
Hello everyone, my name is Elliot J. Powell, and prior to getting into property, I used to be a professional dancer. Believe it or not.
Oh, Elliot, what are you doing?
We today are going to show you...
Well, this is really awkward now.
What we're about. I'm going to pass you over to John in a second, who is physical coordination, and by the looks of it, his colour coordination is not the best.
Bit harsh.
But he's going to dazzle you with a deal, and everything is going to be A-OK.
Thanks, I think. Hi, my name's John Raybold. I'm going to be going through the actual deal with you. So it's a 4-bedroom HMO in Stoke-on-Trent. Currently, we've got it for £100,000. It's in a prime student location, and we've secured it 20% below market value. With that, you'd be looking at a return on investment of 25%. Who here thinks that 25% is a good deal within property.
I think that's a cracking deal, John.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Now, with creative strategies, I know many of you are hungry investors. With this deal, if you use bridging and then did the refurb, or if you did buy, refurb, refinance, or these kind of strategies, you'll be able to achieve a greater return than this. We've looked into this, and we've looked at what kind of ROI you would get with that. And we know you will be able to achieve at least...
This fella doesn't look convinced.
48%. Better, yes?
The refurb. So I have spoken, as a team, we have spoken to a local builder who has given us an estimated building cost of £5,500. That will include a change of kitchen, windows, liquor paint and carpets.
A couple of the audience giggling there at how ridiculous this estimate is.
You're a student, you have a 9:30 AM lecture. Your alarm goes at 9 o'clock, you get up, you have a shower, get dressed. You can be at university from 9:30, that's a dream come true for students. If you have any questions, which I'm sure you do, I will now pass over to Ricky, and he will take care of anything you have. But it's been lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for sparing your time. I look forward to seeing you at the bar later. Thank you.
Ricky, I'd just like a bit more of a breakdown on the money going in and the money back, because we talked about percentages, which actually sound pretty good on the face of it, but I'd just like to know how much money is needed in and what is the true breakdown of that. Kind of like a little bit, fairly big picture, but a little bit line by line.
Yeah, no, fantastic question. Completely understand you want to see a full breakdown of it. Now, there are different options, obviously, as investors, we know different options of way that we can finance this deal. So depending on the way that you're going to finance it and what lenders you use, that will really... it will differ with the numbers slightly.
Good work, Ricky, completely avoiding answering the question there.
If I buy it for cash, I do the work and then refinance, I get that. If we just look so we can all compare, let's say the traditional way. So let's say I buy it and get a mortgage. Let's just run the numbers on that so that, we've got a benchmark.
Yeah, no, of course. As I said, we're limited with time now.
Ricky just answered a question.
See me afterwards.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if I want to come and see you afterwards, dependent on the answer here. Because if this is a waste of my time, I won't be sticking around.
Yeah, no, sure.
So it's a 100k purchase. How much money is needed?
I completely understand what you're saying. Obviously, we want to deal with serious investors like you want to deal with us.
Well, I think I've qualified myself by being in this room, and this is the fourth time I'm asking how much money is needed to go in. It's a 100k purchase price. How much money is needed?
Yeah, again. I would say, depending on how you're going to finance it.
Traditional mortgage.
If you're going to traditional mortgage it, then there will be a slight delay from when you can refinance it after.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got the money. I don't need to refinance.
So sorry, carry on.
Traditional mortgage. I'm not worried about the refinance. I'm after the comparison. I'm buying it for 100k. My mortgage. What's the deposit that's required?
Yeah.
What's the deposit that's required?
As I said, there's other people in the room that are...
Oh, this is an absolute car crash.
The numbers on the page right now.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
I'm an investor. It's a pretty simple question.
Yeah.
How much deposit on a £100,000 house?
I personally wouldn't be able to do business with you if I cannot get a straight answer to a straight question.
Yeah.
No, I need to interject with that straight away because I just feel so passionately about the fact that if I'm in a room with people and I'm asking a question as an investor, I expect to get an answer. Otherwise, it just seems like you don't know it.
After that dog's dinner of a performance from the boys, it's the girls' turn to try and pitch their deal to the investors.
How many of you here today would be interested in buying a property if the return on investment was around 20%? Anyone? Okay, we're not off to a good start. Never mind, I'll move on.
The profit for the first 12 months would be £6,970. The ROI would be 19.5%. And the total investment in would be 36k.
This property, as we're seeing right now, is already rented. And now it has 3 great bedrooms. I mean, each of the bedrooms, we're talking double bedrooms, and there is one that will take a king-size bed. But the best feature in the property is actually the bathroom. The bathroom would easily be converted to another bedroom.
Of course, NC, because who needs a bathroom these days?
To the property, had a little look round, and he actually gave us a figure of £4,000. So that's anything between a shower to the kitchen, all the painting and decorating, even the furniture is included in that. And that's actually included in the figures that we previously showed.
So in the current condition, you can get £325 per room. which is not that great. But we have done our research and we know that there are a couple of properties on the same street that can achieve up to £425 per room.
So the management company who we're working for, just as an example, they just took on a property last week that had 6 bedrooms. This week, 4 of them are already let. How would you like to have a property where 4 of your rooms are let in 1 week? Yeah.
So girls, can I ask a quick question about the percentages that you came up with? One was 19.5%, one was 17.6% or 17.8%? 17%, okay. Can you tell me what that equates to in actual rent figures? So that I can quickly work out off the top of my head, because you're recommending that we spend £4,000 on this to do a refurb. How long would it take me to recuperate that £4,000 extra in refurb when there's only a couple of % difference in the ROI on this?
So the rent, the profit that you can get per year is 6,920. Can we just recalculate the initial?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be keen to do that. So
6 times 3 times 11.
Times 11. 11,500, and then you're saying the other option is 400. So it'd be 2 years. It'd be 2 years. So that's, I mean, it's very refurb dependent, really, isn't it? On you bringing a refurb in at £4,000.
How's a 3-bed HMO going to work?
What's
the bills?
The bills are £130
per month. 130 per month?
Yeah.
So we're working off the figures.
It's just not realistic. Have you ever run a HMO before? Any of you? Have you any idea how hot the tenants have it? I mean, is that realistic, that figure? It's just not realistic.
After some pretty atrocious pitches, both the boys and the girls have an opportunity to network with the investors to try and sell their deals face to face.
Okay, I have a question for you. At 3,200,
on the
which one of us 3 do you think is the decision maker?
I'm going for the guy who looks like the milk tray man.
I'm going to go straight to you.
Good call.
Me? Okay, who do you think is the decision maker?
I would have said you, being what you've said and how you've presented yourself today.
Okay. So this is one decision maker, and this would be another decision maker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, well, I totally miscalled that one. It's probably why all these guys are millionaires and I'm just sat in a dark room talking into a microphone. Meanwhile, John shows us how to truly engage in a sales conversation.
Rooms which are achieving full £395 a month now.
Suite?
No, none of the bedrooms are en suite.
It's quite big, isn't it? Could you put an ensuite in there?
So I'm sitting here waiting to be approached. I've got some money in the bank.
Well, yeah.
I want to invest it into a property of some description, and I'm sitting here waiting.
I know. I don't know what the girls are doing. I know I'm 57. I'm an old git now, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'm clearly completely invisible because
some of the investors not happy at all with the girls as they seem to have ignored some of them completely.
I just feel ignored. I feel stupid here alone, and I just don't get it. I spent all day. I left the office. I'm not attending the office. My real responsibilities. Yeah. And no one has actually spoken with us.
Not by a great deal of money.
Trevor has collared Ricky to negotiate some numbers on the boys' house, but can Ricky hold his nerve?
Well, apart from the finder's fee.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Forget that. We'll do that there.
Revaluation, and you're saying 125.
125.
Okay. So
what comparables? What evidence is that
they
based?
talked about that.
Yeah, I mean,
14 was sold, and another one 160 just down the road.
160.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
14 was 12 months ago. 160. I've got it all here. I made copious notes. So I've got you on a rating as well. I can tell you what you actually said.
Okay.
I've got it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm with it. Okay.
Okay.
Go.
Well,
125.
120. It's going to refinance at 125. Okay. So it refinances at 125. So you're going to be able to pull out your 106.
Okay.
That you put in, and there's 19k left in there.
It's 19,000 equity.
Equity. Not left in there. Yeah.
Okay. So it's about language. When you say 19,000, I don't want.
No, it's not left. No. The 90,000 is not going to be left in there. That's equity left in there. Equity in the house.
I've got a question. The refurb. How much was the refurb?
The refurb. The guy who's doing the HMO manager, he quoted us £4,000 to £5,000.
Uh-oh, this could spell trouble. Elliot's trying to pitch to Marcus, but he doesn't realise that he's not actually the decision maker.
The 1 day of scaffolding to just sort out that little bit of roof.
So are you guys going to be involved with that? Is there any way of driving down that price just a little tiny bit?
Well, the price...
What's the minimum you think you can do with that?
The minimum is the 4,000.
I think that is the minimum.
If we can have no money in, Sue and I might buy that cash. But I like the £2,000 refurb cost. You come down from 550.
But you know, there's going to have to be a compensation. If we add value, the finder's fee, you know, we've got to find the.
Get all your money out. You bought it for 100.
Yeah.
You've got £6,000.
I mean, you could get in and do some painting, make sure it comes in at 4,000.
I don't know why the boys are laughing. If someone wants to pay me £4,000 to paint their house, I'll be round in a shop.
If we could reduce the costs by being part of that process, is that something that would promote you to buy the deal?
It would certainly get me thinking about it for sure.
Okay.
Surely at this point, Marcus should step forward and admit that he's not the decision maker.
You obviously haven't got a lot of experience. You made a lot of mistakes. I don't have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
You go away and do that. Next one, you'll learn.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about how.
Okay. If we if we done a deal today, shook hands today, set in stone.
Do you know what, Ricky? I would, but you haven't shown me a spreadsheet.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Okay. Subject to me liking that. 1,500.
Ricky has got his hand out. Come on, shake it, shake it.
My team first.
You have 3.5 minutes to go around your team.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you lose the deal.
Thanks for your time. I'll be back in less than 3.5 minutes.
There you go. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay.
If you're happy with the sourcing fee and you're happy with the property,
what would it take, if you don't mind me asking, for you to feel comfortable shaking on it now?
He doesn't actually make the decisions.
So generally, making a decision is one thing, but shaking on a deal, when I shake a deal, then it's done.
Okay, so it's more of the principle of what it represents.
Yeah.
But we have a deal in principle.
On the 4,000? In principle.
Yes, they got a deal for full price. It's with the wrong person, but a deal is still a deal.
Bought cracking house.
Thank you. Just so you know, she's actually the one that does the properties.
I'm the property investor, so I'm listening.
Okay, that's well awkward, but Ricky's also got a deal with Trevor. That is fantastic. 2 deals sold for the boys. Good job, lads.
He's £100,000, but he's reduced the refurb down from £5,500 to £2,000. The guys are doing all the work. We've taken the $3,950 sourcing fee down to $1,500, shaking hands on it, subject to us seeing pictures, floor plans, and spreadsheets on all the numbers on the rental and exits. That is it. He shook hands, got the deal. Nice.
I literally feel that that guy could sell ice to Eskimos. So, to recap, the girls didn't sell their deal to anyone, despite there being an eye-watering amount of money in that room. The boys got 2 deals. Ricky got completely outfoxed by Trevor and sold his deal for a £1,500 sourcing fee, which is down from almost 4,000 quid, and the promise of a £2,000 refurb, which is nearly $3,500 less than the original estimate. Naughty boy, Ricky. Elliot got a handshake for the full £3,950 sourcing fee on the promise of a £4,000 refurb, which is a cracking deal, but he sold it to the wrong person. Let's join Samuel getting some feedback from the investors. Over to you.
So tonight I'm going to have to evict some people, and I'm really glad that you guys have come out because you're going to be able to help me decide who needs to go. So was there anybody today that stood out as a particular weak link?
I was interested in it and he just assumed, Ricky, we assumed that we were all together. Well, I was quite happy to negotiate separately as well, but he didn't take the time to actually think about who he's doing the deal with.
I thought the girls' presentation was better than the boys'. I thought they held their own a lot better when we pressed them.
Yeah, so just an observation on the deals really. When I've been through the numbers, at first you're thinking, well actually maybe the girls have not got as good a deal, but once you've really drilled through it, they actually end up being about the same return on investment based on the numbers that we've got. So actually, I think I worked out that they're probably all around about 18% return on cash, give or take. So there's not that much difference there. But I think the really big thing with the boys, and they didn't use it as a selling point, was it's 20 percent below market value, and actually that would enable you to refinance all of your money out pretty much straight away.
The girls didn't close the deal, you know, they kind of weren't really hungry for it. I think if they'd pushed us more, we probably would have, we would have kind of maybe agreed on a fee for the deal.
I didn't think Elliot was the strongest in the presentation, but one-to-one outside he was fantastic, and he really did a great job of selling the deal to me. Another one I think is worthy of a mention, standing next to him, Stephen. I can't remember anything from Stephen.
Negotiations complete, investors' feedback received, but will the deal stack in the boardroom?
Okay, so here's the verdict. There's going to be a winning team, there's going to be a losing team. The losing team, 3 of you will be evicted tonight, and we'll have to leave the castle and go home. So, it's been quite difficult working out who the winning team is, if I'm honest, because both teams had some serious flaws. Boys, the investors thought you were a bit of a laughing stock. You were cocky, and I don't know what Elliot's dance was about, but it made the investors not want to mingle with you later on in the party at all. It's like you were trying to lose the challenge. So, feel pretty let down. The deal was good, but the delivery was not good at all. Girls, I'm going to be investing my own money, £20,000 with somebody, and my problem with you girls is not one of you can sell. The investors thought your presentation was okay, but you just could not sell at all. And some of the investors said they were waiting for you to come and speak with them, and you just didn't. They wanted you to try and sell to them. At least with the boys, they had a fire and they were making an effort to sell. I don't know what you were thinking. And frankly, the competition was about who can sell the deal, and you couldn't sell. So can't say I'm happy with the girls. Can't say I'm too happy with the boys either. But at the end of the day, you had a challenge, and the challenge was to sell a property. So I'm going to give you the lowdown of what sold, if anything sold, and then we can work out who the winning team is. So boys, you kind of sold a deal to Marcus and Madrika, and Marcus wanted to buy the deal, and in principle was happy to pay you £4,000 your full fee. But the problem is, his wife Madrika is ultimately the decision maker, and you completely ignored Madrika and made her feel like rubbish. So, despite her being the decision maker, after you left, Marcus has pulled out because Madrika felt like she was ignored. So Marcus did not go ahead with that deal, so there was no deal there. However, you did speak to Trevor, and I don't know what was going on with the figures exactly, but he made you an offer of £1,500 on the basis that the refurb could be done to a high standard for £2,000, which Ricky said that could be done. So on that basis, Trevor has said that he can go ahead. So you did sell a deal for a grand total of £1,500. Girls, you just couldn't sell. Your deal was good. It was equally as good as the boys, but you just couldn't sell. And that's your problem, and that's your downfall. However, the investors warmed to the girls a lot more than the boys, and despite you not being able to sell, we spoke to the investors afterwards, and there was an offer made for one of your deals for a fee of £3,000. So the girls are the winning team. So girls, you'll be celebrating tonight. We've got a cocktail class for you. Boys, I'm going to give you a few minutes to decide who's responsible for this. Ultimately, James has been the team leader. You did sell a deal. You sold it for £1,500. Someone's responsible. We're going to figure out who that is, and 3 of you will be evicted tonight. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to chat amongst yourselves.
Obviously, we were talking in a group, but the conversation was with Marcus and Mark. I said hello to her when I walked over, and there was no speaking at any point.
Were you ever aware that it was her that was making the decision on that deal?
No one spoke or told us that at any point, and we were under the impression that we were dealing with Mark and Marcus, and we had a deal in principle. He shook on it, and that was that.
They
didn't say they didn't like any of us. They said they just didn't like. I mean, they might not like some of us. They might put a bad taste on everyone, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that's specific people specifically, but I'm just saying if they didn't like someone, they might have thought that the whole group.
Okay, so 3 of you guys are going to be evicted tonight. James, you were team leader.
Yeah.
So who's responsible for this?
I think we had sold it. It had been closed, and because we hadn't addressed all the people that were involved.
Sold to who?
Well, we'd sold it to Marcus.
But then Marcus's wife is the decision maker.
Yes.
Who said that you were rude to her.
Yes.
What did you contribute to this, Steve? Because no one remembered your name.
I did my bit due diligence, and I came across. I thought I did it quite confidently, and yeah, I didn't have any problem speaking to anyone after. And
why did all the investors say that they felt that you'd contributed the least?
That's their opinion.
Well, it's their opinion, but is it valid?
I don't feel it's.
Why is it not valid?
I did my bit as much as everyone else.
What did you do?
I did the due diligence part of the task.
Yeah, you keep saying this. What?
That's what I did. So I'm telling you, I did that. So do you want me to go for the whole picture with you now?
I want you to tell me what due diligence you did that was so important that resulted into you in this situation.
Well, due diligence wasn't the failing point, was it?
So what did you contribute?
My part in the presentation, and when we were at the property, I did a bit of measuring up as well. We had all different jobs to do, and I did my bit.
Ricky, you said that you thought that the refurb could be done to a very high standard for a £2,000 budget. The only reason that you managed to sell a deal at all was because you said that. Is that true? Or were you lying just to sell the deal?
I think...
Is it true or is it not true?
The full refurb wouldn't be done in £2,000.
It wouldn't be, but you said that it would be, and that was the basis of selling the deal. So why did you lie to Trevor?
I didn't lie straight to Trevor.
So what would you be able to do for £2,000 in that property?
We could do, the painting can be done, the bathroom can be sealed up and cleaned up, it can be a basic makeover.
John, you've been very quiet. I think John has, how have you done?
I think I did quite well in the presentation. I was quite nervous going on, but I think I performed quite well in there. And the networking, I didn't obviously manage to sell a deal there, but I was trying quite hard with the networking.
You were the only person that the investors said that they trusted, which is a good sign. Steve, I don't think you've contributed much. You keep talking to me about due diligence. You weren't involved in any of the conversations from what I've picked up on the sale. So it's a tough one, but I think the first person that I'm going to evict is Steve. With regret, you're evicted. Off you go. So I've got 2 more people to evict. This is just the nature of it. Ricky, you messed up. You sold a deal on the basis that you can do a refurb for £2,000. James has backed you up and said that he thinks that's possible with free labour. I don't think it's possible at all. James, I think, has got massive potential. I don't think he's full of crap, but at the end of the day, we didn't get the deal. I think John has done well. John had good feedback. I think John is safe. John, if you want to go back to the house.
We got there, I got the hottest lead, and I made, for what I know, we sold that deal at a great sourcing fee for that deal.
On the day, there were 3 people in that conversation. There were 3 people stood there. Even if I didn't think she was a person making the deal, I would have said,
James, you weren't there and you didn't sell the deal.
But you had people like Paul and Anne who actually wanted the deal and had come to buy something, who said they're interested, and you said, I'll be back in 5 minutes, but all 3 of you were swarmed around Marcus for 20 minutes.
No, just us 2. Just us 2, and I was speaking to Anne individually, Anne and...
Again, we were following the hottest.
And Ricky was constantly messing up with numbers. You were a laughing stock in the presentation. All right, I've heard enough. I think 2 more people have to go. Anthony, bottom line is you messed up, but I think you've got potential, and I think it'd be a shame to let you go this early. So Anthony, you're safe. Go back to the house. Ricky, you were a laughing stock. You messed up. Your numbers were all wrong. You messed your words up. You turned the presentation into a joke, but ultimately, if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't have sold a deal at all. So the fact that you were able to sell the deal to Trevor, I think it'd be a shame to evict you at this stage. So please go back to the house. It's a tough one. I know I said we're going to let 3 people go. I wouldn't like to see both of you go. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to just choose one of you to be evicted at this stage. So who should it be?
He didn't read the room right when he was pitching. He did the dancing that clearly didn't go down very well. And then although he did get the handshake, it wasn't with the person who was making the deal. And he alienated somebody who was clearly a massively key factor in that.
I think you've done a great job of being team leader on this group and held us together, James. I do think that. I think that it's unfair for you to say that I'd alienated someone in the conversation when you weren't there. Simple as that. I did not alienate. I was focused on the task at hand of getting the deal sold. And Anthony said that we were under the impression that he was negotiating the deal, therefore the deal was for him, and that no indication was made.
Why should you stay tonight?
Why should I stay? Because I am eager, I learn, I come with energy, and although I agree as well, I read the room wrong, I'm a fast learner, and I do what it takes to be successful. And ultimately, I got the handshake.
You got the deal, but it didn't exist because you're talking to the wrong person, and the decision maker who had the money and was the property person felt ignored, felt that you were rude to her, felt that the team was rude to her. Ultimately, you failed the challenge. One of you has to go. I do think that the fact that the girls sold the deal to Madrika and you were standing next to Madrika and didn't manage to sell the deal. James, your team leader, you were called arrogant, but Elliot, I think you're going to do very, very well in business and in life, and it's with deep regret that you are evicted.
Thank you very much.
James, you've got massive potential. You need to step your game up. You need to have more humility, and I look forward to seeing you in the next boardroom. Off you go.
It was very tight between the boys. I think seeing that 2 people went, it could have been any 2, and I'm disappointed it was me, but it is what it is.
I was quite happy with what everyone did, and I was quite happy with what I did. But you know, it's up to the other people in the room, and obviously Samuel and the team.
Next time on The Eviction.
It's fine, it's good.
So you put all the head. You not shout at me!
With regret, you're evicted.